Thank you, Ines. Thank you, Juha, a colleague from EPP as well, fond memories. So I have selected 4 points, which I will delve into. And the first one is this. You have definitely spoken about this phrase, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. Sometimes, as Europeans, as politicians, we tend to fear the populist politicians. We tend to fear the extremists. But we are not always excelling in helping the marginalized, which is the poor, the LGBTIQ, the unemployed and the sick. In the case of the Brexit, some have said, many have thought it was the youth. But it seems that this newspaper said the problem was about class. The divisions in the United Kingdom's population, which had different perceptions about remaining in the European Union. In my view, I think we need to communicate more with our, let's say, enemies. I'm not saying we should hold meetings with ISIS, but I'm saying that we should try to reach out to those who we consider are not like-minded as us. And I say this because I don't think we should delegitimize populism or radicalism. Not that they are good, but it might perhaps be better to speak with these people and create a conversation rather than pushing them to the margins where they can, remain alone. And perhaps when you do not speak, unfortunately, some people also resort to terrorism. So sidelining, in my view, is counterproductive because it leads to exclusion. And perhaps also it creates division from the political class, who some people consider us, and I don't always blame them, to be elite. So this is my first point, which I think should be addressed when we speak about increasing civic engagement. Minorities need to be kept at the heart of our agenda and handled with care. I come from the smallest member state of the European Union, probably even in this room. How many Maltese in the room? Raise your hands.
Quite a few.
Okay, that's still a minority in the room. So I'm in my country and we're still a minority. But my point is this. The way how the European Union works, we as a minor member state feel we have been given the importance as much as the biggest member state, which is Germany. And this is the concept I feel we should adopt when we come to speak about minorities. We need to make minorities feel not important, but listened to. My second point, who is safeguarding European Union values? I don't think you would be surprised if I were to say that most, or not most, some of our electorate feels that politicians are corrupt. They think politics is corruption. But is the European Union perceived to be corrupt as well? Let's take the Panama scandals affair. The European Parliament has taken the initiative to set up the Panama Committee. But what has the European Commission done? The European Commission is supposed to be the guardian of the treaties, the guardian of the EU values. What has the European Commission said about the protests in Romania? The European Parliament has probably spoken out. But what has the European Commission said? In my country, we also had a protest. One of the ministers of this government, a socialist government, but it could have not been a socialist government for that matter, has been caught red-handed having a secret Panama company. And we feel it is unacceptable for an EU commissioner to stand side by side with a minister caught red-handed with a secret company in Panama, okay, celebrating his achievements. It sends the wrong message. When I go to the electorate when I do house visits, and my party is proud to have been the party which made Malta join the European Union, because we have told them that, you know, if our government falls, Big Brother, the European Union, is there to watch over us. And they tell me, where is the European Union in all this? If we take a look at this graph, it shows that Malta and Romania are amongst the highest as a population, enjoying one of the highest confidence in EU institutions. Now, I have to make a question here. Would I be surprised if, because of this passivity, this laissez-faire, this confidence has perhaps been tainted a bit? And Antonio Lopez, our Secretary General today in the Congress, said, the EPP is not a party of power. It is a party of values. But this needs to be reflected also in the members of the EU Commission who represent our party, our group of parties, the EPP. And while the European Commission tends to, you know, hammer in, and rightly so, and exceeding member states, countries who want to join the European Union, to make them come up and live their respect to minorities, fight corruption, it seems as if that once you join the European Union, then it's okay to disregard EU values. And it is ironic. EU values must be fought both before joining the European Union, but also all throughout a membership's lifetime in the European Union. My third point, youth's active participation. We're always saying, you know, youths have to be at the center of decision-making, and it's good. But token consultations take us nowhere. This friend of mine is a national poet, a philosopher, Oliver Frigeri, who once recounts how he had a meeting, a number of academics, with a former prime minister. And they told him, listen, our students, our history students, they are attending internships, and they are made to clean the palaces. Do you need to clean a palace to become a historian? They questioned. Well, some might say yes. Some might say yes. But others might say, wouldn't it be better if these students would restore the artifacts in the palace? And this is an example of how youths deserve more than a lip service. In this photo, we can see that in the Brexit vote, now I'm contradicting the earlier slide, but this is what the media was saying. Trump was in favor of Brexit, Putin was in favor, Le Pen in favor, but the youths, they were against. So that's why we need to take care and listen and act upon what youths say. My last point, we need to win the hearts. We need to create a sense of belonging amongst our citizens, because only when they feel that they belong to the European Union, they can feel that the work that we do as politicians really matters. Sometimes we live in a bubble as politicians. We're protected by our entourage, you know, our canvassers, our experts. But we fail to listen and try to understand what is the real problem which the people are facing. This photo is the Azure window in our sister island in Gozo. This is a national identity. A few days ago, we've lost it. This happened a few weeks ago. And I can tell you that the sense of belonging that the Maltese had was great. Because they felt they have lost a part of them. And I would ask, and I will conclude, if the EU project were to collapse, would our European populations feel the same? Would they feel a part of themselves as have been lost? So it's important that we live in the same world as our populations do. Thank you.